Is Andrew, and you are watching Burr Cash Flow Investors. And every single week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we do these lives, and we try to do a Q&A talking about kind of the questions that come up from other investors, from people from Mastery, and from people just like you. So if you choose to, make sure that you send us questions. So the latest, what happened this week in terms of real estate, big news. I mean, if you are an agent, and if you, especially if you're a real estate broker, now in Illinois, everybody's called a real estate broker. There's no real estate agents. They changed kind of the terminology for it, which is silly. But anyways, but if you have a real estate brokerage, meaning you're the managing broker, right? There was a huge lawsuit. I mean, literally billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars, you may be affected. And I'm being dead serious. I'm not trying to do a YouTube, oh my God, everything is coming to an end. Not from that perspective, but this is very, very, very serious. And I want to bring up this issue, and just for the general understanding of the audience as to what this issue is. So for years, there has been an issue going on, which is that when a real estate broker lists a property, what happens is that basically, when I became an agent, they said, hey, you have to join the MLS service. I'm like, well, why do I have to join? Well, because you put the properties in the MLS, and then everybody else can show the property. Okay, that makes sense. Well, you have to become a part of NAR, National Association of Realtors, right? And I'm like, why do I have to do that? And the only reason I cared about these things was because at the time, the extra $50, $70, $200, whatever it was that I had to pay to become the member, right? I saw it as their way of basically getting another $200, $300, $400 out of me that I didn't have, right? So that was my complaint. My other complaint with NAR is that at the end of the day, and this is, I don't have a license anymore. I sent my license back to state of Illinois. Thank you very much. Right. But when I had my license, my biggest problem with NAR was, I'm like, hey, listen, as a industry, meaning I'm sure they do a lot of quote unquote political bullshit, but anything that they do that actually affects you as a real estate salesperson, right? They're supposed to circle the wagons around real estate agents. Yet what they did was a lot of bullshit things that had nothing to do with anything. And yet, if you're a real estate agent, anything you do, oh my God, somehow you're made to feel like you're doing something wrong. It's like, hey man, I'm just trying to make a living, right? This is how I used to feel, because all the time it's like something or the other bullshit. And I mean, the biggest BS, and NAR has done a disservice 100% to real estate agents, because they sell their own data to all the services in the world, collect a bunch of stuff. And all the people who run the NAR and they go on trips, they do all this bullshit. And the leadership NAR, they clearly suck at selling houses. That's why they become, quote unquote, the leaders. So who are we taking? That's like in the real estate investment industry. I'm going to take direction from somebody that has ideas about investing. Get the hell out, right? I mean, why would I take direction from somebody that doesn't have a bigger bank account? If you don't have way more assets than me, why am I going to take direction from you on how to invest, right? And nothing wrong. You may be a very intelligent person, but hey, if I want to achieve, if I want to run faster, if I want to grow bigger, if I want to be better, I'm going to take advice from people who are ahead of me. I'm not going to take advice from somebody that thinks they have an opinion on something. And unfortunately, you can see how much I like NAR, right? Unfortunately, what the NAR has done that I feel is they have absolutely failed. And this lawsuit is 100% a representation of it, is in protecting the agents that paid them dues. And NAR is based out of Chicago, right? Headquarters for NAR, they have a DC, which is their political arm. And guess where they are? They're downtown, right? I mean, absolute miserable failures when it comes to protecting the real estate industry and protecting agents. And they say they're supposed to be representing their membership, which is, I used to be one of them because I had a real estate license, right? Absolutely nincompoops. right? Complete disasters. But that's besides the point. My point is this. What happened is in Missouri, there was a lawsuit. And the lawsuit was, it was the antitrust. It's against the Sherman Act, which is the Antitrust Act. And basically what they said is pretty much that you're doing price fixing. By that, what I mean is, so Keller Williams, Remax, all the big companies, and it's not that they just happened to be the big successful companies, and that's why they got entangled in it. But what they did was interesting. So they took the Keller Williams training, right? And Keller Williams, just like when Remax came out, they were supposed to be the new kid on the block, right? 100% commission, that sort of thing. Keller Williams came out, Gary Keller wrote this wonderful book. I mean, just what a great company he built, right? And it's truly something where he gave the power more so than even Remax to the agent because of the training, this, that, whatever, right? So they built a very successful company, but yet in their training book, what they said is how to overcome seller objections about commissions, right? And he's giving an example of the seller says, of course, the seller's going to say, hey, I don't want to pay as much commission, right? I want to pay 4%. I want to pay 5%. But in real estate, the deal is that becomes, if you talk to another agent, say, hey, I charge 6%, what do you charge? That, right, generally, so if I take the Chicago market, and I'm not an agent, I can say whatever the hell I want, so I don't care anymore, right? Generally, if you look at the MLS in Chicago, generally, about 5% is what agents are charging. Now, that cannot be something that can be discussed amongst two companies. That's for sure, 100%, because that would become price fixing, right? Because they're saying, oh, you get a bunch of companies together, big companies together, and you agree on a commission. What would that be? That would be antitrust. Basically, you're taking out the competition and you're all doing price fixing. This is kind of what this lawsuit was about. And this lawsuit has been in the works for a very, very long time. There's a big lawsuit going on here in the state of Illinois, right? And so what happened a couple of weeks ago was that there was a 1.89 billion judgment, right, for the plaintiff meaning the person who sued. So obviously a law firm got a bunch of homeowners together, about 500,000 homeowners, and they sued NAR, they sued these big real estate companies, and they're going after all the people. If you're mom and pop, you sell 10 houses, probably nobody's going to care about you. But these big companies, and this is a very serious issue. This is not, I don't think, this is just my opinion, I'm no legal scholar, but from the study that I have done a little bit, that it doesn't affect individual agents, but certainly this is coming 100%. And right now what they're saying is it's going to affect the buyer's brokers. So because this was basically a lawsuit where they alleged that the seller is paying a commission. So let's just say sometimes the 6%, sometimes 5%, 4%, whatever it is, right? Chicago area, generally, it was 4%, it was 5% generally, right? Some other areas, parts of the country, it's 5.5%, 6%, whatever it is. But there was a established norm. Now, people will say you cannot discuss commissions with another agent. You cannot discuss commissions with another office. That's for sure, because that would be considered price fixing. And hold on. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So what is this saying? Okay. So what the lawsuit was about was that basically the buyer's broker side of the commissions that were paid out. So hypothetically, let's say 5% is being charged to you as the seller. Half of it goes to the buyer's broker, half of it goes to the listing agent. And that half of it that goes to the buyer's broker, the lawsuit alleges that the buyers that bought the property did not get the services equal to, and so somehow they need to be compensated back. I mean, I don't have the. We'll do a like a separate webinar on this for the RIA, for everybody, and I want to have all that legal language in front of me to exactly go through this, because it's a little complex. But regardless, this is based on that, hey, all you brokers, you're getting together, and even you say you're not doing price fixing, but you're kind of, there's a wink, wink, nod, nod, and you guys are doing price fixing, right? So Remax had settled, I think $50 million or something like that on the lawsuit. There's another big company that had settled, and across the board. I mean, if it's Berkshire Hathaway, Howard Hanna, any of the big companies, right? Whether they were the regionals or whether they were the big, the big 4 or 5s that own C21, all that, everybody is being sued across the board, right? It's not like and this is just the state of the industry today. And now this issue has been going on for a long time. It was in the background. Nobody heard about it. NAR clearly, right, has not basically talked about this for whatever reason. But now, guess what's happened? A lot of the brokers, it's going to change the industry of real estate. But it's not like it may happen. It is happening as we speak. And already the first lawsuit has been won, not just filed, it has been won. There's another major one going on here in Illinois. And so there's going to be changes for sure. And I didn't mean to bring that up. It's just been on my mind. I kind of sat down yesterday, about 2-3 hours. I went through a lot of videos, data, a lot of this stuff, because these things is something that is going to affect the industry. Now, does that mean that the real estate agents are not going to be there? No, that's not what it means. But certainly how you earn your commissions as a buyer's broker, specifically, because this is attacking buyer's broker 100%, right? And it's interesting. I saw some agents from a perspective of, talking about this particular issue yesterday, and they're agents that do clearly a bunch of retail sales. And it was interesting. He's like, well, why would you want to go to a listing agent? You don't have representation when you're buying a property. I mean, someone like me, I don't give a rat's ass about representation when I'm buying a property, right? I want to buy a property. I want to try to talk to the listing agent, and I want to buy the property then and there. If another agent brings me the property, it's a great property, I'm going to obviously be loyal to them, buy the property through them. Otherwise, I want to get the deal. Me as an investor, what is most important to me? Not working with one agent, but going to the listing agent directly. And what has happened is, because of technology today, a lot of people are seeing the properties on places like Redfin, on places like Zillow, even before their agent has a second to reach out to them. Property hits the MLS at 10 o'clock at night. Guess what happens? 10 o'clock and 1 second, boom, it'll pop up on Redfin. Now, even Redfin is being sued in this, because Redfin is a real estate brokerage today, right? Redfin runs a brokerage. I don't know if Zillow is the same, but definitely Redfin is a brokerage. So Redfin was sued as a part of this whole thing also. And so there's a lot of changes that are coming to the industry. That was something that was going on in my mind, and it relates to us. We're going to see the changes from from not only the agent end of it, but from the investor end of it. So the industry is in a turmoil. Now, going to the next part of it. So the next part of it, what's been going on in the industry is this whole talk. If you go to YouTube and do any searches, and you've done any real estate searches about anything, oh my God, market's going to collapse. Oh my God, market, this is going to be worse than 2008. I mean, this is going on, and this is going on like crazy, right? And I want to again address this issue. This is something that I've talked about a bunch of times, right? And this is something really, really important. Why are those things done? Because they create all the news, everything is about making you look at kind of the, whatever the first slide that is on a thing. What is that called? Huh? Yeah, clickbait. But what is the first thing that you see? Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about for YouTube videos. Thumbnail. right? So it doesn't matter if it's Mr. Beast or if it's somebody making real estate videos. That thumbnail is really important, and the tagline that you put, right? Oh my God, 5 reasons why it's going to collapse. That is much more clickbaity, so people will watch that more. Me, you, all of us are the same. And what's happening is that this nonsense today that they talk about, I mean, this is kind of interesting, because when you have a talking head like me, I need something to talk about, right? The more interesting and juicy the topic, the more you're going to listen. This is just how it works, right? And in the real estate industry, this is all, well, prices may go down, well, prices may go down, well, prices may go down. You know, this may be worse. And they'll have 50 people justifying why the prices may go down. My point from a real estate investor is that, hey, listen, if the prices go down, it's better for you and I. It's great for you and I. Why? Because what does prices going down mean? Prices going down means there's distress in the market. There hasn't been any distress in the market since bloody 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Literally, till the day that Corona shut down everything, for 2 months, we were off. The world was shut down, and boom, prices go through the roof, right? And my point being is this, that when did it become bad that the prices went down? Prices going down from an investment perspective is good. Now, some of you would be like, well, but Andrew, how can it be good if I buy a property, the price goes down? How is it good? Listen, what does investing mean? Investing means you're buying something at a discount when it comes to real estate. Investing in the stock market is different. When you're investing in the stock market, you're doing it for 2 reasons. Number one, you're doing it because you're buying something and expecting it to go up in value. When you're doing crypto coin investing, there's no investing in crypto coin. It's just basically you're sticking your money in. It's like a lottery ticket. If I hit, oh my God, maybe I'll quadruple my money, right? And there's nothing wrong with that approach, mind you. If that's the approach you choose to do, great. I mean, people who bought cryptocurrency at $1,000, right? It went up to 60 all the way, 60,000. Now it's down to whatever, 25, 30, whatever it is, right? Great, good for you. The thing is, it's speculation. And if you want to speculate, God bless you. I have no problem with it. I just don't have the appetite for it. You know, now maybe we should do a fun game in Mastery. Maybe I put up $10,000, everybody else puts in $100 each, and maybe we'll go buy one crypto coin, have fun with it. That's fine, right? Not like it's going to make any difference if I invested $20,000, $30,000. But I wouldn't call that investing. I would just call it having fun. That's me. Stock market, you're either buying a good company that is undervalued, the stock price, and then you're saying, hey, the business is so good, I believe over time the market will recognize value and the value will go up. So I buy stock, right? Or you're basically buying stock and you're saying, hey, the S&P over a period of time goes up at a certain rate, and I want to be along for the ride. And that's fine either, right? Now, some people will say, I'm speculating stock market. That's fine also. In real estate, when you're investing, to me, when you're investing in real estate, this is my definition of investment, is not buying something at value, right? For me, this is me. Now, people will say, well, but Andrew, if I bought something at retail price and I buy an asset, let's just say an office building like this, right? You pay $1.9 million or so for the office building, and then you rent it out to a bunch of people, right? Say I'm your tenant. We're not in this case. It's our building, but let's say we're your tenant. There's a bunch of other people. Fidelity is here. Patrick, the mortgage, insurance company is here. Gina Diaz's office. Sam downstairs, right? So you rent that. And on the money invested, plus the loan from the bank, you're getting a return on that. Is that an investment? To me, if it makes cash flow, you want to call it an investment, great, no problem. But to me, a building like this, I paid retail price for this stupid property, right? So I paid retail price. And guess what? If I have to sell this property today, we paid 1.7 million. I dumped a whole bunch of money to redo this whole entire building and space. Guess what? Even if I sell the building at 2 million or 2.1 million, that is not going to be an investment, right? We bought the building for our own purposes because we do Mastery here. We have the studio. We have all our offices. We have the whole facility for us. So it's a utilitarian building. It is not an investment. Why? Because I paid retail price for it, and instead of renting all the hotels and stuff we used to do, now we're able to do it in our own space, right? So to me, this is not an investment. Even if, does it make a little bit of money? Yes, it makes a little bit of money because we pay ourselves rent. We have rent collection from other people that are here that are complementary to our business. But I don't call that investment, because to me, that's just retail price I paid. Investment, when it comes to real estate, and this goes back to if the prices come down, right? Investment is when I buy something that is worth 300,000, right? All fixed up. So if it's worth 300,000 all fixed up, let's say today, I look at the property and I look at it, okay, what is the value of it today in the condition that it's in? Let's say it's 150,000, right? So if I buy something for 150, put 150 into it, now that's 300,000 spent, and it's only worth 300,000. What did I just do? I bought something for retail for all the work, time, energy I spent in it. I'm not making any money. That's retail, right? That is not investing. So just because I rent it out and it makes me money, that's not investing. That's just buying something for retail. But if I buy something for, let's say, 100,000, I put 100,000 into it. Now, because I bought it at a discount, I did the rehab at a good price. Now that asset is worth 300. That becomes investing. Why? Because I increase the value, number one. Number two, if now I put tenants in it and it gives me a return, that becomes an investment. So what happens is this: a lot of times when we talk about the housing market, the way people talk about it is, hey, you're buying a home, it is an investment, right? I am sorry, but that makes no sense. Now, I'm not the Grant Cardone type of the world either. Oh, owning a single family house is shit. You're crazy if you, no. Owning a single family home or owning a condo or owning a townhome, I think is a way of forced savings. Meaning, if you pay your mortgage over a period of time, maybe you pay a little bit extra, it forcibly helps you save, right? It forcibly helps you save over a 10, 20, 30, 40-year period, whatever that period is. Hopefully, if you are judicious with it, if you don't keep moving all the time, or if you move, as long as you put another tenant in there so that they can cover your mortgage, maybe you have some left over, you're going to end up with more money generally, right? People who generally live in a property for a long period of time, generally who are homeowners, generally over a period of time are going to end up wealthier. This is just a fact of life in America, right? And so what my point is this, that tomorrow, whether the market collapses, whether the market goes down, if you're not selling the property anyways, how does it make any difference, right? If you're able to afford your payments, you're locked in for 3%, 3.5%, 4%, whatever it is, and the market goes down tomorrow by 20%, how does it make any difference, right? That's like saying, well, I bought a brand new car. I plan to keep the car for the next 6 years. As soon as I drive out of the parking lot, guess what? The $100,000 car you bought now is not even worth 75 or 80 because you titled it. Now you start putting miles on it. Every mile you drive, it's worth less. So does that mean your car is worthless? Does that mean you're going to basically have a heart attack? No, because why? You're using the car. But a car is a depreciating asset, whereas a house over a period of time will appreciate. And a house appreciates not whatever happens, but generally why a house appreciates it, because it's a hedge against inflation. This crazy notion that, oh my God, if the property prices go down a little bit, that you should be worried, you should be panicked, is sheer stupidity. I mean, it is sheer stupidity that you are a homeowner and you should be worried. What are you worried about? Now, will some people lose homes if tomorrow we have layoffs? Sure, that's going to happen. Right? It's called the spin cycle. Every few years, we got to have a spin cycle to clean out the junk that exists in the market, right? Now, if you're caught in that, will it be painful for you? Yes, but that means today you're living in property where you're not making payments anyways, right? I mean, that's just a fact of life. So that doesn't mean that everybody else should panic. right? This nonsense notion that every single year the property prices have to go up. This is the most stupid and moronic notion that ever exists in real estate, right? If I'm a real estate investor and I buy properties this year based on prices today, and then tomorrow, the prices, tomorrow meaning in 2024, middle of 24, the prices go down a little bit. Well, guess what? If I bought the property with a good enough discount, I'm probably not going to lose money, even if I'm doing a flip. I may not make as much, right? Because real estate prices, even in the worst recession so far, right? They've dropped, what, 6, 7, 8% over a year, 10%? Big deal. If I buy a property based on a sale price of $300,000, next year the property price drops by 10%. Okay, I sell the property $30,000 less. Does that mean I'm going to lose my shirt? No, I don't think so. Now, if you're a new investor, could it put a hurting on you? 100%. Does that mean real estate doesn't work? Or does that mean the market is, oh, so terrible? No, this is called a normal business cycle. The problem today is this. There are too many people and everybody, especially these real estate agents, right? This NAR is another crazy thing. They put this idea in everybody's head because that's what sells a lot of houses. Oh my God, you should buy. Oh my God, you should buy. Oh my God, you should buy. No, sometimes you should just sit on the sidelines and invest, right? You should invest first. To me, you should invest first and then buy. Meaning a house to live in for you. Now, if you have kids, you're like, Andrew, that's not a luxury for me, right? That's fine. That may be not a luxury. You're like, I need a place to live. But then go economize, right? Go buy a 2-flat and put people above you. But that's not something what I want to do. Well, then don't do it, right? See, you can't have your cake and eat it too. At some point, either you have to have enough income, or at some point you have to be willing to sacrifice a little bit, right? But you can't basically say, well, I'm not going to do anything, and yet I expect to use real estate to get rich with. It doesn't work that way, right? Life doesn't work that way. Either you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. You're going to pay at some point in your life. That's just how it is. Now, the only way to kind of get around that is if you are a product of a lucky sperm club. If you're a part of a lucky sperm club, meaning your parents who are wealthy, God bless you, right? Then it's a definitely different thing. Otherwise, guess what? Like most of us, you're going to have to earn it. Now, you may get something from your parents at some point, but otherwise, you're going to have to earn it. And there's nothing wrong with the market today. There's nothing going to be wrong. Now, mind you, having said that, right, there's this two crazy wars, proxy wars we're fighting. One in Ukraine, one in Israel. You agree with it, don't agree with it, doesn't really matter, right? Something crazy like that expands, something crazy happens, that's different. We can't, Corona comes back like it did, this time there's no help, that's different. But we're talking about given the conditions, can we have some layoffs? Absolutely. Will they probably lower the rates? I don't think so, right? Given all things the same, next year is not going to be any worse than right now. And what they want you to believe is 3 things. They're saying number 1 is the rates. Number 2 is, oh my God, there are less homes sold right now than there were. Well, 2020, there were 6 million homes that were sold in America. Highest ever. Last year was 5 million. This year it's 4 million. Well, guess why less homes are selling, right? They're like, well, the number was less than 2008. Well, why is less homes selling? Because a lot of people got really, really, really good interest rates. They don't want to get out of those interest rates. A lot of other people bought a lot of investment properties, people like me, right? And this has been a huge growing trend around the country. So what I'm saying is this, that there are a lot of factors. It's easy to say, oh my God, there were not enough sales. Well, there's a lot of factors. A lot of people took advantage of that, and it's okay. It's a normal business cycle where things expand, and then they contract a little bit. Then they expand, but the expansion is always way more than the contraction. Meaning, if I take 10 steps forward, and if I have to come back 1 or 2, course correct a little bit, and then I get another 10 steps, that doesn't mean I'm not making any progress. That just means from time to time, I may have to step back a little bit. And that's how a healthy market is supposed to be. This crazy notion that we're supposed to be, and I understand, we live in a YouTube, we live in a Instagram society where all the time, 24/7, you're supposed to be all happy, right? I watch like other people's stuff on YouTube, on Instagram, and I'm mad at me all the time because everybody looks so happy, right? And I'm not happy all the time. But yet, intellectually, even I understand that is BS. Same exact thing, like expecting the housing market all the time, year over year, right? Doesn't matter how many crazy, you bought the property 100,000 over what you should have bought it, what was the market, but because there was so much demand, now if you have to sell it a year from now and somehow the market is terrible, if you take a hit. Guys, that's called common sense. If you are not going to live in the property 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, guess what? You're probably not going to make money because of the transactional costs that are involved in the property. So having said that, I don't know what happened to me today. I think just I had 4, 5, 6 questions here. One was about FOIA, one was about working with wholesalers, one was about I have $250,000 to invest, another was about permits, village permits, and another was which villages to stay away from. I promise on Friday we will address it. I got all fired up with a few things that were on my on my mind. My apologies. Oh, by the way, we had done a meeting for with this credit lady in Mastery the other day. It was meant for Mastery, but I think it's a really, 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 really good meeting. You should listen to it, right? And I thought she did a really good job we have never had anybody come in and talk about credit, talk about how to make sure you have good credit, how to make sure, what are the things that you need to understand. We have never talked about the last 10, 12 years, right? And we had this lady come and do that. So if you are registered for the 3-day, right? The dates are November 17, 18, and 19. Make sure, number one, you're there 110%, because the market is changing for sure. Right? Airbnbs are making more money than you will believe, right? Midterms are making more money than ever. So you need to understand. And Chicago and Philadelphia. Chicago, number 1. Philadelphia, number 2. 2 top markets in the country. 2 top markets in the country in terms of rental income. The rents in Chicago and Philadelphia had stayed the same or went up single-handedly compared to any other market in the country. I know there's a lot of people that are, oh my God, Andrew, you don't want to talk about Chicago, blah, blah. Guys, listen, this is a great market. We have challenges, 100%. But since 2011, this has been the number 1 market to build a portfolio of properties. Why? Because the housing price versus the rent that you collect is the highest. That delta is in Chicago, not Florida. We own a lot of properties now in Florida, as you guys know. But guess where there's more money to be made? Right here. That's why we stay here. So make sure you register for andrewholmesevents.com for November 17, 18, and 19th. Super excited. Guess what? The VIPs, I don't know if we even have 1 ticket or 2 tickets left. I know we were pretty much gone. We had 150 tickets for VIPs, 600 total tickets. The VIPs last time we were at 15 or 20 left. So I don't know if we have a single ticket left as a VIP. Check on andrewholmesevents.com. This is going to be a bigger event than we have ever seen. Guys, flipping is bigger than ever still as we speak. Super thrilled, super excited. We'll talk to you on Friday. And I promise you, I'm going to not do my diatribe. We're going to talk about the questions on Friday instead of story. Thanks a bunch.